Hi everyone. Today is 28th of October, month end. So we'll start with a lower time frame and then go higher up to the 1 month, and probably we can go at a quarter as well to see how the things look like at different time frame, because you know that trends are at time frame. Remember, I explained this. If you That's why these days I when I post my weekly, I also post some key pointers. So if you think that you can search up on that channel and find out which video has what kind of topic covered. So that's why earlier I used to just post the link, but now I also post the key points, key bullets, so you can always search and see what was discussed during the call. So if you want to know cycle, then search up cycle on the weekly channel where I post this link, and you will find the link, and then you can find out. So sometimes I repeat, but not all the times, of course, and when it is relevant. So when I talk about trend, I had explained what is trend. So trends are subjective to time frame you select. So that's why it is very important for a trader to select time frame on which he or she wants to trade. Even buy and hold, even swing trading, no matter what methodology you use or strategy you use, it is always about the time frame. And time frame is selected based on, I'll give you a few tips. Basically, it's more common sense than any. There is no rocket science, to be honest. So, for an example, I'm a bachelor, let's say, and I have no liability, and I have some money, and so I'm okay. So I have no immediate requirement for when, let's say, for 1 year, 2 year, then I go for buy and hold, but with a swing trade in mind, because I don't want to see my coin going down 90%, something like that. Because each cycle you see the drawdown or the correction is up to 90% for the altcoin, and Ethereum, Bitcoin would be anywhere between 60 to 90, right? So point is, the range is 60 to 99 percentage of drawdown, and one can avoid that when the information is available. But if someone has some liability, let's say there is next year, there is something to be paid, or in few months there is something to be paid, and you expect that a profited amount to be used for that expense, then the time frame could be different. So uh, there is no universal rule that you must follow this time frame weekly or daily or whatever. It based on personal situation and goals, financial goals, in my opinion. So and it's not just one portfolio. One can have two portfolio. One is for shorter term, and one for longer term. That way. So there are different strategies one can actually go with, and I'm always here to answer any question you might have. Right. So let's start with BTC at what, 6 hour? Yeah. So I have cleaned up this layout, as you could see. I have cleaned up this layout. Um, because there were a lot of levels, and one of the reasons I cleaned up is the price Bitcoin is above the green level. Remember the green level? I hope you haven't forgotten. And that is crossed, right? And then the price is above that. So now I had to come up with a clean new layout. That's what you see now. Now this is very simple, and sometimes that was very cluttery. I mean, I know that because it was required and it developed over time, because we had to add new lines and drawings. So it was messed up in a way at the end. Though I mean, we had three layouts, but this is good that this is nice and clean. Now, the recent high is a resistance. Now, resistance, I everybody knows on this channel, I'm sure. Resistance is always a checkpoint, and there are three behavior I keep on repeating, and it's very important to understand that some people think this is a target, and that's a wrong understanding. Resistance is not a target, it's a checkpoint. There's a difference, because when you say target means it's an end game, means you achieve something. No, there's nothing called achievement here, because it can be a continuation. And so the checkpoint simply mean that there are three types of behavior we would expect. One is simple consolidation, where very narrow range bound movement, and this is the first case of that. When you see this kind of thing where little bit of retracement and then a range bound movement like this, that shows the strength. Okay, highest strength, I would say. Then the second behavior is where it retraces deeper, deeper. Like if this is a deeper, not necessarily, so it's not deep enough where it will break the trend, remember. So that's so even so and I always mark those levels. So in this case, I mark the 30K above is okay. So you see this is narrow consolidation. But even if the consolidation here up to this one, this is also fine. When I say fine, you won't like it, but point is it doesn't break anything. It delays. So when the correction is deeper, it delays things. Means you have to then adjust yourself and set your expectation, because there's another problem people have. What happens is when the correction is deeper, obviously it's like you going to some place from place A to place B, and there if there is some roadblock and there's detour, and then you take another route, and of course that your journey is going to be delayed. So if you're frustrated and assume that you are not going to reach point B, then it's your call. I mean, right? I mean, there's a detour doesn't mean that end of the journey. But this what happened. People get impatient and they announce themselves or decides or assume that this is going to go down or crash or whatever, and they assume and then they get out. Of course, I mean, it's not our business to say or comment on what their decision, but we feel sorry that they are not understanding. When I see a lot of social media posts, and I feel that okay, I wish they understand. And from my side, I always post. And I post so many things for free, but sometimes it's just psychology. I think it's just emotion that override. But when you understand and learn TA, and you're learning TA, even if you are if there is I don't have titles that or course name or something, but each weekly call you're learning something, I believe, and anything that I post you're learning something. So I think more and more time you spend, the patience is not something you learn. It actually it's a state of mind which happens when the understanding reaches to certain level. You can be patient. I mean, I cannot teach patience. You are patient when you have understanding. That's how it is. I think I'll just digress a bit. Similar thing with the meditation in life. um, People think that I am doing meditation. Meditation is not about doing. It's not an action. It's not something you're supposed to do. It's a state of mind. When you understand things, you are meditating. So you can say that I'm in meditation, but you cannot say I am meditating. There's a difference. So I think that's something applies to everywhere. In this one, understanding of TA helps us a lot because it makes the process mechanical, um, or we can say we become process oriented rather than emotionally driven. um, and I think that makes a huge difference. Now, if this is a level below which I say warning level, of course you don't have to assume that, because that's my opinion based on TA. But um, if you consider that my input in your risk management plan, then definitely you consider this as warning. And now this level 26,900, I'm calling this out as potential risk level. Means if this breaks below, then there is risk. Remember, earlier the risk level was 25K. Now I have elevated that level to 26,900. And if the and Bitcoin keep on progressing on the upside, which it is doing, right? Then these levels will go up. So instead of providing multiple supports, what I'm going to do going ahead is I'm going to provide only two support. One is for warning, another is for risk. And then what will happen is for Bitcoin only. For what will happen that if it goes up, I'm going to trail this. Means I'm going to bump up these levels, and then basically I'll keep you updated about this. So let's say if I fast forward down the line after a few months or a year or whatever, what will happen is there is no need to think about what is the top. Means if it breaches the warning level, that assume that the trend is at risk, potential risk, and then if it breaks below risk level, then you can consider the risk is triggered. And of course, if something major changes, then we can always change and say, okay, that was a false breakdown or something like that. But the point is, we will have that information. So then you don't think that what is really the top. You see my point? If you have any question, feel free to ask me, right? Because I believe this approach will help us. And it is like you taken a spacecraft, a rocket, and then you are in outer space. In outer space, there is no point A to point B. You know that. Here on the Earth, we have point A to point B. But this is like because once you cross the all-time high, it's like outer space, isn't it? So there is no point B. I mean, when we call out resistance, those are virtual resistance, means we expect it to react on those. But um, we cannot say that particular resistance in the future is going to be the ultimate one. Like if you ask 10 people, 10 people are going to give you a different dollar number. If you ask Kathy Wood, she's going to say 1 million. So if you ask Noah Gritz, something else number, some XYZ person would say something different. So each one would tell you different things. Let me tell you, everybody assumes things, and TA do not assume things. So levels are assumed, but you cannot say this cycle, this will be the all-time high. There is a difference between this. So the rocket goes out of space. We don't know how much fuel it is. So it may go up to the Mars, it may go up to the Jupiter, it may go up to the Saturn, or it may go out of solar system and go for interstellar, journey. You don't know that, right? But how would we know? We simply know that when it is exhausting, when the fuel is getting over, that's the thing. So our focus is not the price. Our focus is the fuel. You see the difference? Our focus is not the distance, right? So this is simple thing. It's health check. I explained this with the different example. If the runner is running, you wouldn't know how long, how much that runner is, the energy strength of that runner. The only runner would know. And here the runner is coin. So coin is not going to tell us that it is exhausted, or the market is not going to tell us, or the people who are driving, let's say, they are not going to tell us. So basically, we have no way to tell us that this Bitcoin rally is over. Only way to find out is to find out by weakness. Hope it makes sense. So TA is an art actually, scale art. I say art because it seems mechanical, but I think there's some art factor as well. It means there is some creativity when I say art. It's you have to be creative to find out different things. So there is scope of creativity in my opinion. Anyway, definition is not important. Point is, DA offers us different resistance and support, which are very important, and those are checkpoints. Those are checkpoints, and some checkpoints are important, like supports that I mentioned. These supports are important. So not everything is same, and whenever it's important, I'll emphasize on those levels. So in future, you don't have to think about what is the top and all. I don't think it is required to know. And to be honest, you must have seen that it is not possible all the time to say this is the exact top. I mean, so if it hits the resistance, you may say, okay, now it is very difficult to go for a new all-time high or something like that. And then, so that's 50% of the work, remember. So if it hits, let's say 100K, 200K, whatever level, 300K, and then if we think that that resistance is very hard to break, then that is 50% of the analysis. What is the remaining 50% is to see if it breaks the risk level or the support that we going to trade. That is another 50%. And then combination with those two will tell us, technically speaking, tell us that it has stopped. Or we can say that swing is over. So this is how I think. I'm not trying to say this is how everyone should think, but it is important to know that how the technical analysis from my definition point of view. So if you think that this makes sense, then you can always um, adopt this one, you know, because ultimately whatever works, we have to carry forward, and whatever doesn't work, we have to drop them without any ego, because that's something is very important. So you won't believe that even I find, if I have found something 3 4 years and I was believing, truly believing on that method, and when I find, and when I contradict myself that that method was crap, it is little hard to accept that, okay, I was living with the crap for a year, but that we have to do. I have done it. That, okay, I came up with something nice, I thought, but that was crap. So when I say crap, I'm purposefully using this adjective because just to tell that it was not worthwhile. That's what I mean. And but this is a problem with many people, that they think they know something, but knowing is not important. I think they have to see what they know is working or not. If I think that my TA is good, that's not good enough. I have to see that my TA is consistently providing output, expected versus actual, because there is no gimmick in this. There is no hiding in this. You say something, if it happens, that means you're right. Otherwise, you're wrong. So it's black and white. There's no gray area in TA, in my opinion. If when the language is, so there is no, you cannot hide. No TA can hide, because there's definite result. Um, so similarly, I think the trader investor need to be also very honest about what they believe in. Okay. So if they think that what I know is good, but they have to always see if that good is really working, because that good is not good enough in itself. It must be working. If it is not working, then see whose ideas are working. I'm not saying my idea, but anyone's idea on internet or anywhere, or maybe you explore something. So I think that open-mindedness is very important. And yeah, I think this is very, and sometimes we believe something so much that we are reluctant to change. And the best example is this Craig Wright. Personally, I don't believe him because he has to prove it. But there is a difference between not believing and hating. When you hate someone, it is very hard to change your stand. You will not touch that thing when you hate it. What you have to do is, when you're not sure, even if you don't like, you can be a neutral, which I am neutral in that case. And then I would observe for the data, because opinion do not matter, data matter. And that's why TA skill is very much pragmatic, because it's not about, you start with assumption, but ultimately your assumption is validated. You see, point. So if I'm estimating something, but that estimation is validated by the market, so it's it's always black and white. uh, that's why it's data oriented. So always believe in data, believe on your own data, how you're doing. And if you're not doing, just be honest without any ego, that if I'm not doing well, where and who can help me with that. because when you do that, and then it makes huge difference. So basically the old habits which is not working probably need to be reviewed, especially. And so many people have preconceived notion about certain things, assumptions especially, that this will happen, that will. Another thing I would like to emphasize, don't think about future, which is very counterintuitive, because being a TA, everybody thinks that this is about prediction. TA is not at all about prediction. I'll tell you one thing. The levels are futuristics. See, this is the positive side of the future. This is negative side of the future. You see, this is the present. This is the reality we live in. This is we are perceiving at this moment, that whatever is the, and this is a recent past. This is recent past. We don't know about the future, and we don't know about this future. We know that price is this. We know that price is consolidating. We know that the price was below and now it is above. We know that the trend is moving up, and so on. Right? So these are the facts. The levels are futuristics, but the price is always in the present. So people mix up two things. People think that the TA is futuristics. No, the levels we determine or come up with is futuristics, but your opinion must be in the present, because decisions are taken in the present. The planning is not decision in a way. Planning is aspiration or risk management, right? But it is never a decision. Decision is always taken in the present. So the point is, do people, 99% of the people live in the future. I contradict and I said, don't live in future. The planning is fine. That is futuristic. But living is not based on the planning. Living is based on what you see. If you get it, then I think you got everything. Okay, so coming back to the TA stuff. So this is awesome. I mean, no one can expect better than this, because this is not even close to the warning level, right? So this is very positive. Now this may go up, go may sideways, because look at this wave. So if it goes little sideways, there's nothing wrong, because this kind of consolidation is actually energy gathering. Remember, if you think about a runner, as I said earlier, the runner has to take some rest, and then this is how the price action shows that it is taking rest. No coin bumps up forever, right? Um, so this is good enough. And another challenge people face is, sometimes the coin pumps up and coin doesn't do anything. And as you will see that in bull market sometimes, and then you think, oh, let me drop my coin and let me buy something which is pumping. That's not a good idea. I mean, you can always change. Again, not an advice, but a best practices or common observation. If I have to change, what I will do, I'll change not like 100% by not exiting 100%. If I have to change, I would change by reducing. And I would not change if it is doing well. But sometimes people get frustrated if the coin goes into consolidation for long. If it that happens, I can free up some money and buy something which is moving up. But remember, reducing some, getting out, because you cannot time it. So for an example, I have experienced this personally. If I have a coin and that has done well and it has hit a resistance, and I think that I'll assume, if I assume that it is going to go down and going to the consolidation and some other coin is going to go up, I exit from that coin A, let's say, and go for coin B, and I may not get that price action from coin B. And meanwhile, what might happen in the worst case is the coin A might go up, and you might end up chasing coin A, which you left, and you may end up buying that coin at expensive rate. So you basically end up losing in a way, or positions that way. So it's very important that we had to embrace, we have to accept that there are consolidation phase. It's like a rest time, you know, and that's a part of the game. because some people expect that every day my portfolio should go up, every day my coin should go up. It's not going to happen. These are realistic things which I want to emphasize, because I'm not assuming you don't know, by the way, don't feel that. But I don't know who are the listeners, and different listeners could be at different levels. So I have to state some of the things which are obvious and where people make common mistake. That's why. Okay. So this is amazing. So let's look at one day and see if there is anything different. So now what we see here is this is new high, right? So our required level was somewhere here. It is crossed 34K. We wanted to check. It is also crossed, and it is now actually resting on 34K. Right? So this is very positive. This is very positive. Uh, what else in a one day? See, I'm not. I mean, I can draw some drawings. Let me tell you. Because sometimes, you know what, people will say, "Oh, this guy is not even drawing his TA." But sometimes you don't need to draw anything. What you need to know are the key levels. Sometimes it's like, if you're beautiful, you don't need a lot of makeup. It's like that. The chart is beautiful without makeup. If some people, want to hide something, so they do dress up. You don't need to. Simple charts are beautiful. Okay, so if you draw this trend line, we see broken above, right? Very simple. If you look at now new trend line, so this is very interesting. This is a new trend line. Okay. Now earlier we had this trend line at different angle. Now this is very basic way to look at things. Do you see anything? I believe you see. This was an earlier trend line, and this was the breakdown from that one. Correct? And now where do you see? It has reached to that level. It makes sense. And if I draw this trend line, this is new trend. People called out this as a breakdown and started talking about new low and all, because this is broken, and they thought this trend is over. Bear market, people thought we bear market continues, but they have no clue, right? Unfortunately, that breaking this trend line doesn't break anything. I tweeted about this, and the and I don't blame them, because even moving averages were broken. Even RSI was broke, like showing that. Even MACD was like that, and so many commonly available, even Bollinger Band and all that commonly available indicators were broken, and that's why people make that opinion, of course. So it makes sense. I mean, it's not. I'm not trying to criticize, but when they don't have the accurate information, that's what happened, and they give up and they become bearish. And there was no time when it was here to become bearish. In fact, again, not financial advice, like here we were not bearish, but I found this as opportunity. Even here, this was FTX drop. It was here very like looking good, and even here it's even good, better. And similarly here, it's an opportunity. And opportunity near support, critical support is opportunity uh, from a different point of view. In that case, the opportunity is because there is there are two things. One is the support is not broken, and second thing is, even the support is broken, and if I have to exit, my risk is so low, because the support is so close by, so it's very low. In fact, I'm not saying there is risk. In fact, this is the support. So if someone enters here, you can see that how much tolerance is required. Because if anyone enters here, then the stop loss has to be here. If this is the risk level, that means your stop depth is 21% currently. Risk point of view, there are different strategies though, but do you see the difference? But over here, when if my support was very close by, my risk is so low. So that's why there was opportunity in a disguised manner. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't look like opportunity, but there is opportunity because the critical support was not broken and the risk was low. So when the risk is very low, that is opportunity. However, if the critical support is broken and then hits another support, that is not opportunity. Why? Because the critical support is the support where you said this is my threshold. So for an example, you are healthy, your temperature is normal. Let's say you fall sick and your temperature goes up by 102, 103, 104, like that. Now, after 2, 3 days, maybe you take some medicine and you feel little better. So your temperature comes down to 102 from 104, means it goes down. It doesn't mean that it has improved. Improve means you're not cured. It has improved, but you're not cured. So, uh, so that kind of situation in that, let's say if the critical support is broken, uh, and then if it hits another support and then lower, that's not opportunity. That's, you can say, okay, that's probably a potential bounce where you can expect recovery, but it's very risky game. That's not where DCA happens, dollar cost averages. DCA happens only up to the risk level because people sometimes keep on buying as if they have infinite amount of money. It's not like that. So when you are sick, if there's improvement in temperature, you can say there is chance of there's some improvement, but you cannot assume that you're normal. But if it becomes again 98 point something, then you can say my temperature is okay, feeling okay and all. That is called normal state. And then it's very okay, now it has, you are recovered. So if the price returns back above, or breaks above the critical support, you can say it's back in the game. It happens sometimes. It happens. So that's how I see. So the support above the critical support is opportunity. Support below critical support is, you can say something positive where it may bounce, but not necessarily an opportunity. So it's very important that you understand that what is the, and that's why for Bitcoin and all the altcoin, we have that red line. The critical support is marked for that reason. And sometimes I give it little more opportunity or tolerance, because when I see it's broken, but marginally broken, not a major one, which I tell from my experience. So we'll see when we look at APT, that was an example where it broken the critical support, by I kept it now, and then we'll see how APT looks like, right? So it's very important to know. But the most critical one is the BTC's critical support, because that's the grandpa or grandma. That's why. So I hope, I touched base. You see, I was not planning, but I touched base very important concept here, that not all supports are important, and which support is actually opportunity and which support is not, and why critical supports are actually the last opportunity in a way, and that can be the best opportunity if it recovers from the last support. Remember, because you can see the reason why, and if you buy from here, you can see the reason why, and so on. So it's very important. And but some people, what they do is, some people do not reduce and they keep until the last support. That's also a mistake in my opinion, because I would not say mistake. What I'm saying is they probably they have to tolerate more drop, like longer duration and deeper correction. So that's painful. So it's not a mistake, but that's painful. Okay? Because what if you wait until the critical support, and then what if it doesn't recover and continue to go down? That's the worst thing. So I explained this. I'm not going to repeat it earlier. That how one can use the interim support and in the strategize. So here 30K is a warning level, but it has to be used somewhere, not not only this one. Anyways, so looking at this simple strategy, look at this one. It has basically, and this is called pullback. Okay, this was a trend line. This is a pullback. Remember, if I invert it, this is like a retest. Re Let me show you something. Let me inverse it. Okay, so I'll just remove this for now. Assume that it was going down because this is inverse chart. Remember, it's going down. So, and this is breakout. And then you can say this is a retest. Now, logically, you will think that, okay, what if this now start going down? It can. It's not, I mean, going up. It is possible because this is a retest. It is possible. But that's what? That's assumption. You don't assume things. Yeah, probably. So this is a resistance, and this is a genuine resistance, a good one, and it has to break above for it to continue on the upside. Right. So if it starts breaking below, but up to 30K, there is no major risk. Only one in that case. But yeah, this level is no ordinary level. Okay. So I hope this is clear. Now what we can do is we can go on weekly. Isn't it beautiful? Can we say our W is complete? The big W? Beautiful. See, patience paid off. There's big learning here, big learning in my opinion. Yeah, so look at this. Patience paid off. So can we remove this? Now this W, this job is done. Yeah. Um, this was most, I mean, this is stronger than I thought, by the way. This is much stronger. Anyways. So I removed some drawing because those were not required. And this orange strip is important. And in fact, that is up to 31K. I have my 30K, so it's okay. Not major difference. But yeah, you can assume 30K, 31K is this band. We don't want price to be below this band. 31, 30K, you can assume that is the level. We don't want price to settle below this. So anything above is okay. Clear? Like this was the band earlier. Now this is another one. And then, of course, then we expect it to continue like this. And importantly, this particular line is also broken, right? Which is amazing. So I can remove this. Job is done. Week is not over, but this is Saturday. I don't think I should not think because there's no place for thinking. Probabilistically, probabilistically, the chance of closing below this is very low. That's the right way to put it. Thinking has
Thinking has
oh so thinking has no place. Thinking is required only for planning, and after planning is done, it's execution. Means my plan must have entry level. My plan must have exit level, and exit level can be 2, 3, depends. My entry level can be have 2 or 3, not just one. So like that. If you don't have plan, that means you are driven by emotions. Means you don't know what you're doing. Don't take it personally, please. I'm trying to be very direct because sometimes direct statements without thinking how you will feel it. I say so because direct statements are required. So if you are a little hurt by my statement, don't worry. I mean, that's just ego is hurt. You are not hurt actually. So if you don't have plan, that means you are not. Okay, I should not be very harsh. Point is, everybody should have plan. Otherwise, that's not good. So this is awesome, right? Let's look at another layout. So it's coming out of this level that I have. It's 34K, which is almost there. Almost there. So yeah, that's at resistance makes sense. So this job is done. This dotted line can be removed. Right? So you see, this warning zone is far away, right? So now we don't need this because now we have another zone. So right now, I'll just keep this one, but we don't need all these levels now. These are irrelevant now. Yeah. In fact, I can remove the green zone because, or maybe next week I'll remove because it's still on the boundary. So I'll just keep it for this week. Simple. I think life is good, right? Life is good. BTC is good. Crypto in general. See, there's the world. The if you look at the world around us, that's not pleasant by any means. If you take the war, if you take the inflation, it's not I would say favorable in a way. However, price sometimes you feel that it is not reflecting the financial condition of different countries or economy, and we have to accept it because the price is the truth, whether it's a speculative or real. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What we see is the truth. Right? So that's why if you try to think that because everything is so adverse economically, everything inflation is high, everything is expensive, interest rates are still high, and so on. And this is going up. And if you keep on thinking about crash, 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 it's a choice, as I say. And then you will not be able to enjoy what is happening. I simply say if it is going down, just set expectation according to the price. The expectation should be according to the price, not according to our belief. The price, the output is the price. There can be many input. People think about input, but what they fail is what if they missing an input, which is driving the price up. You see my point? So if they think that these are the 10 factors which drive the price. What if there is 11th factor they don't know about? So we are smart. We don't think about whether there are 10 factors or 11 factors or 20 factors. We say, what is the output? Okay, we look for the output. And if the output is good, we say it's good. So simple, isn't it? Yeah. This is very similar to what doctors do. Let me tell you. Doctors do not look for input. They do not say, they do not look for how many hours of sleep you do, what food you have eaten in last 1 month. These are all input. What kind of stress you faced. They don't ask this question. If you notice, what they do is they do tests, and those tests, different tests are nothing but output, whether it's a blood pressure, sugar, or whatever, all these are output. And what we do is the same thing. Yeah, so we are doctor in a way. You know, we are price doctors, we can say. We look for the health, and that's why I say always a health check for the same thing, because doctors do the same thing. They look for the output. If the output is in the range, normal range, then they say normal. Simple. If the out of range, above or below, they'll say you're not well. There is no magic. What they know is what to test. That's it. And they know what is normal. And if it is not normal, they know what to be prescribed. Here, only thing is there's no prescription. You have to, that's why I say that you have to tune to the market. It's not that if this is not healthy, and you will do something and you will get, I mean, you will find healthy strength. There's no way. So that's the difference between our health and market's health. Here you have to go. So if the market is unhealthy, you have to take it as it is. So that's why I always keep on saying price is the truth. Follow the price. Believe in price. Don't believe in any input, because inputs are fallible. Price is not. Price always gives you clarity. So I believe this is good enough. Let's quickly look at our reference data with DXY. So DXY is still on a resistance zone. It's not giving up. It's not giving up, right? But at the same time, it hasn't broken above. Let's look at NASDAQ. It has broken this line. We'll have to see. But yeah, this channel is expanded. You never know. Like this, it's a parallel channel. The trend lines are funny. Anyway, this has a lot of tolerance. I tweeted, if you want to see that. I think I tweeted as well. But yeah, reference data. So you can, so NASDAQ hasn't broken anything. So I'm not worried. Where is my 10-year? I removed by mistake. Um, um, sometimes. Um, hmm. So it's good to see 10-year Treasury bond yields are retracing. So this is good. Remember, this is just reaction, not to assume that this is going to crash, because it has to break below this. So this is still very strong, but it's good to see that it is reacting to this zone, resistance zone. Right? This is positive that way, but it has to go down even further. This is still very strong. Anyways, this is reference data. Remember, it's not like a pendulum that this goes down, Bitcoin goes up. Never think that. Okay. Bitcoin dominance. This is so strong. This is so strong. And I had mentioned that unless and until it breaks below this. So now I'll say this, unless and until it break below this, we have to assume Bitcoin is very strong. Now, again, this is something we have to assume that this is not about the alts, or some of the alts that we have are doing good, in fact better than Bitcoin in some cases, right? So this is like thousands of coin versus Bitcoin. So this chart is not very important. in my book. Okay, I would just look at the Bitcoin dominance chart to see if the ordinary coins have any chance or not. Because you know what, you know the leaf. If you drop a leaf in a river or a stream, water stream, it floats, and not just floats, it moves. So it sails in a way, but it's actually not sailing. You see the difference. It's just taking advantage of the flow. So if you look at the leaf, you think, oh wow, but you cannot compare that with a boat, right? Boat where you can navigate through. So leaf is not a boat, though it seems so. So when the Bitcoin dominance goes down, any any coin would seem like amazing. And that's the only purpose. So if Bitcoin goes below this level, or especially below, then you will see any crap coin will also go up. That's the only thing. So when you see strong, that means it's time to be selected. So selective. You cannot just take anything. That's what it means. This is my interpretation. When you see this kind of a Bitcoin dominance chart, means it's Bitcoin and few coins that are doing reasonably well, not something one can take blindly. Okay, that's it from this part one. I believe you have good understanding with this Bitcoin. Oh, I forgot Bitcoin and monthly. So let's look at monthly quickly. Yeah, let's look at without chart. I mean drawing, sorry. Isn't it beautiful? So main cluster, if you look at this cluster, this is main resistance zone for many months, like, and that is broken about. Look at this month. This is awesome. So when you see this kind of a candle, this candle is comparable to something like this. Again, when I say don't try to compare, because the moment I say, the mind is so tricky. The moment I say this candle is like this, I'll tell you with a guarantee, the mind will say that means the next is this. You can comment me later on if you're not, because this is how the mind works. Nothing wrong in doing that, because that's how mind wired. I mean, point is, yes, this is likely to be the next one. Why not? Likely to be, but we have to always be in the present. And I had mentioned this. So this was the down move and the consolidation. This is down, bottom, consolidation, and then now lift off. So here, in my definition, the uptrend starts. Retrospectively, when we look in the past, it seems it has started from here. But when we are in this phase that I'm circling, we cannot say that this downtrend is over. Remember, and I call this phase as a recovery phase. A debt can bounce up to this one. But this bounce is beyond debt can bounce. So when in past, when price was up to this, or even up to this is recovery attempt. The whole entire thing is the real bull run began when this candle formed. Again, my interpretation. But when you look back, if you ask if you're asked when the bull started, you will say this. But in reality, when you are here, there is no way to tell that there is going to be bull. It is always when you look at the past that you will find that this is the beginning. You see my point? So it's like you're climbing, you are at the level. So when you will see the valley only when you climb. The valley exists because of the height. The valley doesn't exist. So this is the bottom we can say now, but here we cannot say it's the bottom. We can say this is a potential bottom, but here we can say this is the bottom. No harm in saying that. Why not? And if something goes wrong, and just a reminder, it's not that because now I'm saying uptrend began, there can be something major catastrophical in the future, and that can shorten the trend. It is possible because, as I mentioned, when you start outer space, you're in outer space now. With this move, this is like about the atmosphere of the Earth. Now, this could go up to the moon, this could go up to the Mars, this could go up to the solar system or whatever. So basically, we don't know that. So now our hard part is over, right? Now what we have to do next is the tracking of Bitcoin to see if it weakens, and if it weakens, then what level it breaches. Simple? If not simple, let me know. I'm trying to make as simple as possible. So that's it on Bitcoin and other reference data. I think this is amazing week. Um, Amazing week. Thank you.